How's it going, everyone? My name's Trevor, and this is my business partner, Marcus. And we have a very good friend of ours, Shorah, from the UK, that's a member of the High Ticket Ecom Launchpad program. And today he's going to share a little bit about like his experience inside the program and overall like how his journey is going inside. Just starting high ticket e-commerce. So with that being said, thank you, Shorah, for joining us today. Thank you for making the time.
No, thank you. Thank you, Trevor and Marcus, for inviting me on.
Of course, of course. So I guess I always like to start things off with like this question, like why start in I think e-commerce? Like what motivated you to like want to start this business?
Yeah, it chopped up a little bit, but I think I got the question. So, I was always interested in drop shipping. I did low ticket, normal drop shipping when it was around COVID time, and it went decent. However, due to kind of supplier issues, just delivery times, shipping from China, the delivery times were extremely slow. So the store ended up closing down, and then I started up another business, which was a marketing agency, which I still run. But I wanted something which was not client facing, didn't require too much of my attention, and could be kind of outsourced and delegated quite easily. So I came across one of Trevor's YouTube videos, as you do, and then started exploring a bit more. And I was like, this business model just makes sense compared to other stuff. Like you're not dealing with a lot of headaches. That's what it seemed like from the start. You're not having to kind of manage a load of clients. Yes, you manage customers, but those are one-time things, and you can set up systems along the way. So it just seemed like a very systematic, proven business model to start, which would generate me reliable cash flow.
Okay, I see. So I guess what is the biggest difference in your eyes, like running an agency versus running an e-commerce store?
Yeah, I think honestly the biggest difference is the client facing aspect of it, where you have to manage a lot of clients. Especially if you're doing bespoke services, you can't really productize your solution as much as you can. But with high ticket ecom, you can manage your ads, delegate customer service, and then have a pretty profitable store if you did want to leave it at that point. Of course, there's ways to scale it and build a real brand around it. But I think with high ticket ecom in general, it allows you that kind of control um, over your store and over your business as well, rather than always kind of being reliant on clients. Have they done the work? Have they done their bit? Everything is in your court to kind of scale.
Mhm. Got you. Would you say like the fulfillment side of things are like easier with e-com than running an agency?
Yeah, honestly, fulfillment is probably one of the easiest things. Is if you want, you can do it yourself to even a lot of orders. Sometimes there is customer issues. However, the fulfillment is the easiest bit from, well, in I would say in the e-commerce side of things. Once the order comes through, suppliers already have most things sorted. 90% of them will handle shipping for you. It's majority of the time free as well. So it's just about kind of making sure everything's on time, setting expectations with the customers, and
Mhm.
then that fulfillment side of things is there's nothing more complicated than that. And yeah, for agency side of things, there's obviously guarantees that have to be made,
Mhm.
performance issues that have to be met. So it's much more time constraining, and that stops you from kind of scaling.
Right. So I guess like you're in a pretty unique situation where you're running the agency as well as your e-com store. Like what's your long-term vision in terms of like do you want to just keep running both at the same time, see where you like each one takes you, or like how do you want to like kind of run both of them?
Yeah, no, great question. So I think with the e-com store, I'd love to kind of exit the store at some point. With the agency side of things, it's more difficult to exit. So I enjoy running it. I enjoy being in the day to day. So I would continue running that, but I think I want to build the store in order to kind of exit. I would love to exit a company, just get my feet wet in terms of exploring those avenues. So I still enjoy running the e-commerce store, and I think there's lots of possibilities in high ticket e-com to build out a store and a brand as well. I think a lot of people miss that aspect of it, and that can really take you from B to C. Yes, you can get to A to B. I think from the first steps, but I want to build a brand around the store in order to kind of sell it off.
Got you. So I guess with that being said, like you've kind of like found my videos on like high tech ecom. Like what were there like any bottlenecks that you were facing? Like you obviously are, I feel like, capable enough to like just try to do it yourself, like just following the videos. Like did you face any bottlenecks with starting your own like high tech e-commerce business?
Yeah, uh, I did actually at the start. So when I started, I think it's been about a year since I've been running the store, running ads actually. So it's been 1 year since last November. I remember we launched it. Before that time when I joined the course, everything was really smooth. I thought I'll be able to kick off ads pretty quickly after setting up my store, but I got hit with a lot of GMC issues where I wasn't able to launch my store because of misrepresentation errors, the classic.
Hmm.
So I went through that process, had to launch. That took a long time, and I actually had to make like a new Google Ads account because
Hmm.
that one banned because they were linked together, and Google wouldn't kind of unlink them. So an absolute headache kind of delayed it. But everything in kind of in Trevor's and Marcus's program helped me. They're like, you have a GMT masterclass, I'm pretty sure, which allows you to diagnose the errors. So we diagnosed the errors together. Really helpful. People jumped on calls with me to kind of sort the issue out, and eventually I was able to get past those issues with certain. I don't know if you want to give them away, or I should give them away, but with proxies, etc., on using for to make a new GMC account, a new Google Ads account. So yeah, that was super helpful.
Hell yeah. Real quick, for the viewers that might not know what GMC is, GMC is a big problem that a lot of people face when it comes to the high ticket dropshipping business because you can't really run your ads with it. Shura, when you like were going through that, like how did it feel and like what like part of the program was like the most useful to help you getting through that?
Yeah, I think more than I think there's a lot of information online about how to fix the error, but I think specifically the benefit of having a program is having other people who have gone through the issue with you at the same time. So I noticed a lot of people were getting through the issue, even in the wins channel. I think what helped is people were celebrating actually getting their account back, which is quite unique, but also motivating at the same time because you think, hey, once this is over, I'll be able to scale my store. It's just about having this, and it teaches you a good lesson about entrepreneurship. Is the only way you can fail is if you give up. If you keep continuing,
Right.
eventually you'll find a solution. So that kind of motivated me. It was difficult. It was difficult because you think, hey, as an entrepreneur mindset, you think I'm losing so much revenue on all these months instead of like not gaining anything. But I think having that support and constant reassurance in the group that it's fine, it'll be okay. No one's like panicking. Everyone's like, we've seen this 100 times before. Like there was always a solution.
Hmm.
A lot of people panic when it comes to GMC, but you know, it is something that is able to go through, especially if you have the right people around you and the checklist and other methods. So, like, if you don't mind me asking, sure, like, where are you at right now currently with the business? Obviously, there were lots of ups and downs, but where are you at currently right now?
Yeah. So last month was our most successful month. We just missed the 100K. We were about 96
Nice.
in revenue. So yeah, doing good. And hopefully we'll aim to kind of beat that this month or next month. With my store, it's kind of seasonality wise, it's pushing towards now being the better month. So really good start in terms of 1 year on from the store. I think that's what I had in mind as well, trying to hit the 100K month. So very close to kind of hitting that.
Would you ever have imagined you'd be this far with your high ticket ecom store?
No, not really, to be honest. I think I was happy. I wasn't happy. I think it was always a goal in mind, but I did think it would take longer. So I'm happy it got there within just under a year's time.
Under a
And
year.
under a year. So yeah, it took 10 months since launching
Nice.
ads.
So speaking to, the younger self or someone that's outside looking in, looking at what you're doing, like what do you have to say? What are some of your biggest lessons and some takeaways? Share some sauce for the viewers, bro.
Yeah, I think the main thing that always keeps me going is don't let the wins kind of get to your head, and don't let the losses get to your heart. And in entrepreneurship, everything is up and down. There's always swings and roundabouts. One month you might be hitting 100K months, the next month it might be 10K. It doesn't mean you failed, or kind of, you don't have to attach your self-identity to your business. It's important to kind of zoom out and look at it from a very non-emotional perspective. And that's always helped me. I think at the start of the journey, you would get very emotional about the kind of swings and ups and downs. You over celebrate the wins, but I think everyone has to go through that journey. But I think those teach you valuable lessons along the way. So I would say keep a level head at all times, and also in every kind of failure, I think I've appreciated failing more than actually succeeding, because it doesn't teach you anything. So every single lesson that I've learned has always come from a failure. When you win, it's not lucky, but yes, it's kind of a long-term success. Like, success comes from a plethora of failures rather than just going steady along the way. So yeah, as long as there's 1% wins every day, you keep stacking them up. Eventually, the work that you might not see right now, eventually will compound, and then it will look like an overnight success because you kind of stack those wins along the way.
I love that. Going into, the ups and downs, I know you hired a agency to run your Google ads at one point. If you don't mind sharing, like what kind of happened with that?
Yeah, unfortunately, I hired a Google ads agency to kind of run my ads. I mean, it looked great on paper. They had testimonials, they had case studies, they sounded competent. So everything, it seemed on paper, and hey, look, maybe it didn't work for my account, but what we experienced was like a 90% drop in revenue from when the month before to the month after. Luckily, I still had Trevor in mind. And one thing I really appreciate about the program as well, for anyone watching, even though I've been in the program for a while, there's always support, and someone replies within literally the same day. So luckily, I was able to hop on a call with Trevor, and we diagnosed the account and found the issue. So it dropped from, I think at that point we were doing like 50K down to literally like 5-6K, and that was 2 months ago. Yeah, so imagine, I was like, I understand things can go bad, and they blame the seasonality on the issue, but it can't go that wrong. It can't go that wrong. Like, they must have been doing something. So we diagnosed it, we're able to fix it, and since then I've kind of been rebuilding. But it's taught me a lesson. It's like majority of the time, your baby, your business, you know best.
Wow.
No one's going to take care of it as best as you.
Yeah, because you were there day one. You know the business best.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, for the viewers, that one flew over their head. They didn't really hear that. They didn't understand that. Shourya had his store, and it was running with the strategy that was shared inside. And then he got agency, and then it went to 5K. And then he asked like Trevor, like, yo, shit, like, yo, like, what's going on? Trevor, if you don't mind me asking you, like, what was your perspective on it, and what was some of your diagnostics? A little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a little while ago. I think probably like 3 months ago. From what I remember, it was just like the agency just making like very silly changes. Like, I think they just did like location bit changes, and then like they just
keywords
were like leaking all over the place. That was really the main problem. Like, those two things just screwed up the whole account. So we just like reset everything back to like the control, which was what was working before. And then obviously from there, Shorah took over, and then like just scaled things up from 50 to 96K. But like, yeah, it was honestly just like those two silly things. I'm just curious to hear like what the agency's perspective was. Like revenue just tanked 90%, and they're not gonna be accountable. They're just gonna say like it's completely normal. But like,
they said honestly, they said seasonality, and I was like, I get seasonality, but even if it's seasonality, the same month before you, I was doing X amount, and for you to drop the revenue, it doesn't make sense. Like, the search terms we checked the search volumes, we checked everything seemed the same. And then we managed to see like all of the terms that they were bidding on, and the highest bidding terms were stuff that should be in like the high funnel campaign. If anyone is watching about like the technicalities of it. So yeah, so it should have been completely wrong keywords that we were being bidded on. So yeah, it was an interesting time. I'm glad I'm not with them anymore. I'm glad it's kind of back in house and I'm able to have full control over it.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, a lot of people like get the temptations of hiring an agency.
Yeah.
I guess from your perspective, what was the appeal of like hiring agency in the first place?
Yeah, I think at that time I was very busy with scaling a new offer for my agency. So I was just looking around, shopping around, seeing who can take away that, and also maybe who can. It's tempting if someone's generated $1 million for someone in revenue, you think, okay, this person can scale my store, and I can take a step back with kind of extra cash flow that I've made. That's another lesson is like in entrepreneurship, you always want to reinvest and you always hear about reinvesting, but sometimes it's just better to protect your capital because not everyone can multiply your money like they say they do.
Right. And I think that the most important thing I remember was that the spend, like when you were spending like the same amount doing 50K and 5K, but revenue was down 90%. So that was like the biggest red flag.
Yeah, they didn't even break even after like their costs and then profit margins. So it was losing a lot of money. So luckily I was able to cut it off early with them. They were nice enough. I'll give that to them to kind of say like they understood like why I wanted to cut it off. So we cut it off a month 2, then I took it back in house and kind of, as Trevor said, kind of with the strategies hit a hard reset and then was able to scale back up the store, which shows like the power of high-tech ecom in general. It's like if the demand is always there, and if you have a good kind of converting website, if you put it in front of the right people, you can always make money, like even if you leave the store.
Yeah, like it's really just about the foundations. You set it up right, and then you just got to build on top of it. Yeah. Well, cool. That was great answers to all our questions. Marcus, do you have anything else you wanted to ask Shorah?
Not really, man.
No, I appreciate you inviting me on, guys. And yeah, if anyone's watching, genuinely one of the better programs that you can join. I've invested quite a bit of money into kind of online education, and this is probably one of the better ones. So don't think twice about it.
I appreciate the kind words. Thank you.